So yeah, we will punch in like that. We'll go ahead and end the turn. Opponent is going to deal... Oh, is he going to attack us? I hope so. He's empty-handed. If he attacks us, we got him. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He has the new avatar, which is pretty cool. He goes up to 24 life. Man, that's a lot of life. But here comes Cocoon. 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 It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Yeah, gain that life. Let me gain that life. So opponent's down to 7. He has his creatures all tapped, and we have 8 power on board. So GG. Let's go. So yeah, here comes Verilax. You're not really going to be able to attack through from him. We had to take 2 damage for that, and we get to return a creature to the battlefield, which is really nice. Let's just bring back Ademi. You can spend 1 mana to give our creatures indestructible and hexproof. Get to create the 2 tokens now. So yes, I think we got the opponent. They do get to create the treasure tokens, so they have a ton of mana to work with, but we have a thing that can just protect all of our creatures. And I mean, you could attack with Ruzik, Bood, but Victorious. We would choose to block with Verilax, and we'd get to put 7 counters on him then. So GG, pulled it out in the end. And finally, Verilax did put in some work, but guys, man, the 5 white pips is a very steep cost. GG. Hey there, neighbor. Welcome to another MTG Arena Standard video. Today we are looking at some of the newest cards from the Through the Omenpaths set, and I think we have a really fun one today. We are looking at, on our top end, we'll start with that. We'll go ahead and move Overlord down to the 4 mana slot, and we have some really big payoffs. We have Verilax for 5 white mana, which can be pretty hard to cast. But yeah, this creature, he's a legendary creature, symbiote hero, and when Verilax enters, if we cast him, you get to return a target creature card from our graveyard onto the battlefield. So it's like a 5 mana zombify, but you get a creature on the battlefield. And honestly, that whole first part, I don't care about it at all, just because I'm sure so many people will be trying to do just cheesy graveyard reanimation shenanigans. So I actually plan to shut the graveyard off. So the first part we don't care about, but what's really nice about Verilax is that if damage would be dealt to him, you actually get to prevent that damage, and then you can put that many +1/+1 counters on him, so he can just kind of be a big body that you can just always block with, which is really nice. Unfortunately, he doesn't have flying and he doesn't have trample, so the opponent can just kind of indefinitely chump block him. But yeah, he's definitely a creature that I was excited to try out, and card art looks honestly pretty bizarre. It looks like we have I guess it's a symbiote. He looks kind of like a demon to me, and it looks like he's holding on to a little deer, maybe saving it from a forest fire, which is pretty funny. But then another one of our top ends is Egrix the Bile Bulwark for 5 mana. We get a legendary creature. Again, it's a symbiote spider hero with Death Touch and Lifelink, and whenever Egrix attacks, and she doesn't even need to deal combat damage, it's just when she attacks until the end of the turn, we may look at the top card of our library, and anytime you may play cards from the top of your library. If you do cast a spell this way, you do have to pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost, which is pretty nice, because then any card we find from the top of our library, we can just start paying life instead of the mana value to cast them, which will be pretty nice as well, because I want to try and combo that off today with Withar the Cocoon Keeper for 7 mana. You get a human villain that's a 5/5. He has vigilance and lifelink, and when Withar enters, you may exchange your life total with your opponent's life total. And if you lose life this way, you can draw that many cards. So, yeah, we're not going to be trying to lose life this way. We're going to try and have our life total go down, honestly, kind of low. And then when we play this guy, we want to switch our life total. So hopefully, if we don't deal too much damage to the opponent, maybe their life total is at 20, and maybe our life total goes down to, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we can cast this guy and exchange the life total. So then the opponent gets 5 life for instance, and we would get their 20 life, which would be pretty nice, especially if we have a few creatures on the battlefield already, like Overlord of the Mistmoors. You can impend this guy for 4 mana. You get the 2 flying insect tokens that are 2/1s. We have Ademi, the Silkchutes, or of the Silkchutes, that we can flash in as well. He has flying, or you can spend 1 mana to give him flying. And we also have the Lightstall Inquisitor for 1 mana. You get a 2/1. You get to, or you don't get to look at the opponent's hand. They get to choose a card that they exile, and it costs 1 more to cast that spell. So it's a little bit of a tax effect, where I think Yera and Oski, Weaver and the Guide for 3 mana also get a tax effect as well. When Oski enters, you get to look at the opponent's hand, so you get a nice bit of information right there. And then we get to choose a card type other than creature card type, and spells of the chosen type cost 1 generic mana more to cast as well. So a little bit of a tax effect right there. So we can have Yoski enter, and for instance, we could name an instant, and then all instant spells that our opponent controls will cost 1 more to cast, which is pretty nice. And then, yeah, a little bit of removal in the deck with Day of Judgment. That's just a nice board wipe, just clear the entire board for us. And then we're trying 2 of this Scorpion's Sting for 2 mana, instant speed. It's from through the Omenpaths set. Target creature gets -3/-3 until the end of the turn. It's kind of like Depressurize for 2 mana at instant speed. Target creature gets -3/-0 until the end of the turn. But if their power hits 0, then you get to destroy that creature. And then another way to slow the opponent down is with Authority of the Consuls. If they play any hasty creatures, or if they play any creatures in general, all those creatures come in tapped, and we gain 1 life, which is a really nice effect. And then finally, like I said, Verilax, you can kind of use them as a 5 mana Zombify, but we don't care about that at all, because we are just shutting the graveyard down today. Rest in peace for 2 mana. This enchantment enters the battlefield, and all graveyards basically become exiled, because all cards that would be put into the graveyard, you get to put them in exile instead. So then the people who are going for cheesy graveyard strategies, we just say nope to that. So yeah, honestly, quite a few new cards from the Spider-Man set, or the Through the Omenpaths set. It might take a while to get used to call it Through the Omenpaths. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing some of these top end curve toppers for you guys. And I think Egrix, if we can get her ability to trigger where we can play cards from the top of our library, hopefully we can play quite a few cards so that our life total goes quite low, and then we can play the Cocoon Keeper and exchange life totals with the opponent. That's what I want to try and do today. But whether it works or not, we shall see about it. So yeah, let's just jump to some games, see how the deck does. All right, guys, we get to go first. Lightstall Inquisitor into Rest in Peace and a few Day of Judgment. So if the opponent is a graveyard deck, I don't think they'll be too happy about the Rest in Peace. We will go ahead and shock this one in. Play the Lightstall Inquisitor. Tax them a little tiny bit. And then, I mean, the swamp will hurt us a little bit if we find our Verilax. But for right now, we will just get down Rest in Peace. So no graveyard shenanigans. We'll go ahead and attack. I know for sure they don't want to block. They're trying to ramp, most likely. Wow, he did take the trade. Interesting. And it is another green landfall deck. I was hoping this deck would kind of die out. I'm so tired of seeing this little chocobo. So, I mean, yeah, on one hand, Verilax is nice because if they deal any damage to us, he actually doesn't take that damage. We get to put +1/+1 counters on him. So all that would be fine and dandy if they did not have the Mossborn Hydra, which has trample. Tifa also has trample. So, And I mean, yeah, like I said, the swamp might hurt us a little bit. Verilax, you need 5 white mana to cast him. That is quite a bit. This opponent, definitely very skillful. We find the land drop. Unfortunately, it comes in tap, so we'll probably be taking a massive beating this turn if they have a Bristly Bill into an untapped land source. They don't, thankfully. Just taking 7 damage. It's essentially half of our life right there, and they probably have a protection spell. That's why they're not casting anything right now. just to give their creatures indestructible. Oh, they don't have that. I'm actually really glad about that. And I mean, next turn, Authority of the Consuls is a little bit too late. I think I will go with the Overlord. Go ahead and impend him just to get some blockers down. I hope the opponent commits a little bit more to the board. 2, 4, 5. So we could get down Egrix. And I mean, there is the Mossborn Hydra. You just cannot escape this card right now. He's everywhere. The Trample is probably the most annoying thing about him. I mean, sure, I'll take the double block. We do hit a land, which is nice, but we just absolutely have to wipe the board. And I mean, fingers crossed that he doesn't have a Tamiyo's Safekeeping, which I'm not sure is in standard anymore. But yeah. So next turn we could get down Egrix. Overlord keeps ticking down. If we find one more land, I mean, shock land, I'm not sure I'd want to shock it in. There's another Chocobo, but basically just one more white source and we can play Verilax. One more land, we can play Verilax. If it's a white source, of course. If not, we'll get down Egrix. Just another Rest in Peace. Definitely don't need to play that one. So here comes Egrix. I wonder what the opponent has. They've been sitting on something at instant speed. So our Overlord keeps ticking down. Egrix does have Death Touch and Lifelink, which is pretty nice. And they find Tifa, who again has Trample, which is just such a problem for our Verilax. And again, we miss the mana source, which does suck. So we'll get down Yera. They do have a Snakeskin Veil, so the creature just gains Hexproof, so we will name Instant. And then I guess with Egrix, I think we can attack. Can we play? We haven't played a land for turn, so I would like to play this one, which we can. Don't need to pay life for it. We'll say white right there. And then, is this just until the end of the turn? Just until the end of the turn, so could flash this guy in, lose 2 life for that. We'll go ahead and do that. Overlord. Could go ahead and impend him. Or, okay, it will just choose to pay 7 life. And then next turn, we actually can switch life totals with the opponent, which will be quite nice. So, not sure they can really punch through all of this. It's just a Land War Elf, and the opponent scoops it up. Guys, I'm going to do it to him. New set just dropped, and you're playing this trash landfall deck. Keep your backhand strong. Bap, get him out of here. But yeah, we were 100% going to pull the combo off that turn. If we had 2 more life, could have played this guy for 7 mana. Yeah, that's where it's a little bit unfortunate. So let me go back a step. So Egrix, we saw how nice the ability is, just being able to play cards from the top of our deck. We didn't hit a land for that turn, so we could play the land. And then we found Ademi, played him for 2 mana, found a Overlord on the top of our deck, and I was kind of hoping we could pay him for the impending cost, but no, you just have to pay the full mana cost at the top of the card. So we paid 7 life for that, went down to 6. Of course, we do get Overlord on the battlefield. He creates the 2 tokens right there, so we have a thick, wide board right now. This Overlord was finished impending, but yeah, if we could have impended this one for just 4 life instead of the 7 life, we would have had enough to pay the Cocoon from the top of our deck for 7 mana. We would have probably gone down to 2 or 3 life, something like that, but we could have exchanged that with the opponent, have them go down to 2. But like I said, we were going to do that next turn anyway. We know we're drawing Cocoon from the top, so could play him, drop the opponent down to just 6, and I mean, even if they are at 16, we have so much power swinging through that, yeah, I'm not sure that they could really handle it. So GG. All right, guys, we get to go first. 3 lands is really nice. I mean, Fountainport doesn't produce any white mana, so if we do find Verilax, might be in a little tiny bit of trouble, but I mean, we have the Cocoon. Opponent with their own authority of the Consuls, so we'll get down Rest in Peace, and then I think Yera can come in, get to look at the opponent's hand, which is really nice. And I have a feeling they are probably more of a control build. Ooh, enchantment, artifact, creature. We can't name creature with this, honestly. Can name kindred, that's pretty funny. Let's go ahead and name enchantments. Let's say enchantments cost 1 more for you to cast. The Youthful Valkyrie. Another Cocoon, and we miss our land drop, which you absolutely hate to see that. Go ahead and punch in for 3. Opponent with 4 lands right now. They go with Exemplar of Light, so no life gain. Oh my gosh, guys, we, for the life of me, cannot draw lands. I'll need to go up to 25 lands. Oh, don't want to play this creature because then Exemplar of Light grows, even though I thought they were going to play Sheltered by Ghosts. Surprised about that a little bit. And man, oh man, we 100% have to go up more lands. This is kind of ridiculous that we just cannot hit our 4th land drop. Could go ahead and web this one. Let's actually do that. So we'll return this one to our hand. And again, we can just go ahead and name enchantment. So now enchantments. Well, I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure if Yera has to be on the battlefield. We're down to 9. Have to take 2 for this, which absolutely sucks, but I will pay 2 life for that. And yeah, the opponent doesn't take the trade, they just take the damage, so they are down to 11 themselves. They're probably going to play their Resplendent Angel. And they go with Sheltered by Ghosts. So that does just cost 2 mana. So yeah, Yera definitely has to be on the battlefield. Starting Town is a nice pickup for us because we can go with the Overlord. Well, opponent does get a punch in for 4. And they need to gain 5 life. 2, 4, 5. Switching life totals might be pretty nice. Oh, he's going to remove that one. That's fine. Gets his speed up, nothing else. Fountainport is a really nice draw, so I guess we can get down Egrix. I have to take 1 damage for that. Ooh, if the opponent has a double, I mean, we're kind of dead regardless. 2, 4, 6. That's a big no attacks from us. Opponent with a land and a Lyra. Okay, at least he doesn't attack. Oh, and we can't pay 2 life for that. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and name white. It has to come in tapped. Egrix can't even attack. Could create the treasure token, not that that really does anything for us. Alright, we're going to say no attacks. Hopefully the opponent has nothing. And then when Cocoon comes in... No, he has another creature. And an authority. Alright, well, we are going to switch life totals, which is really nice. We're going to be able to pull that off. Wait, he's actually not even going to gain any life because... Oh, we could get the opponent down to 1. Yeah, okay, wait. I'm brainstorming, guys. 2, 4, 6. We have 7 mana. I need to tell the opponent I'm thinking, because I actually am. All right. I think we do this. We say 1 block. We sacrifice the token to draw a card. And then we pay 1 life. Oh, we don't have 3 mana, no. I wanted to pay 1 life to create the fish token because then we'd have 3 attackers and they would be down to 1. I cannot believe it. No, we got so close. Oh, -3 doesn't even do anything. Oh, guys, I nearly had them. That would have been the play of the century. All right, well, we'll still get down Withar, Cocoon, and you guys already know we're going to switch life totals. Yeah, you gain that life. Gain that life, gain that life. And I will take action. So you're down to 2. You will have to block this guy, or else you are dead, which is really nice. So you lose your Exemplar of Light. Honestly, I'm not even sure I want to play Overlord because they would gain a bunch of life. So, but at the same time, what angel did they create at 4/4? Man, getting -3, -3. I'm so sad that we didn't have enough mana to do that. I guess I should not have sacked that one, so that was a huge misplay on my part. We will just play the Overlord. They're back up to 12. Do I just rip a Day of Judgment? I think I do. Let's clear the board. Clear the board. And we actually see a Verilax on top, which is really nice. He is legendary, so... I mean, opponent's back up to 21. Absolutely crazy. They find another Lyra. Found our own Verilax. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play this one. We'll go ahead and say enchantments cost 1 more. And then we will go ahead and attack. Opponent maybe won't read the card. It is a new card. I'm so upset that that one turn Guys, that would have been such an awesome play. I should have just taken the block because we were switching life totals anyway. So it really... Well, but then he would have gained 5 life and his Resplendent Angel could have created the token. So yeah, I had to do it like that. We had to sacrifice that token just so he wouldn't get the life gain, because the Resplendent Angel, he would have gained 5 life, so he would have created the 4/4 token. So he would have had 3 blockers regardless. So we had to do it like that. It's just so unfortunate we didn't have 1 extra mana, because we could have gotten the opponent. So yeah, we will punch in like that. We'll go ahead and end the turn. Opponent is going to deal... Oh, is he going to attack us? I hope so. He's empty-handed. If he attacks us, we got him. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He has the new avatar, which is pretty cool. He goes up to 24 life. Man, that's a lot of life. But here comes Cocoon. 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 It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Yeah, gain that life. Let me gain that life. So opponent's down to 7. He has his creatures all tapped, and we have 8 power on board. So GG. Let's go. All right, guys. Opponent goes first. We'll try this hand. Got the Concealed Courtyard on turn 1. Go Starting Town as well. We got Ademi of the Silkchutes. Got our Overlord of the Mistmoors. And we got Egrix. Pretty cool looking card art right there. Got the Multiversal Passage, which is nice. But yeah, we'll go with Lightstall Inquisitor. Go ahead and tax them a little tiny bit. Maybe get an idea of what deck they are playing with. And we have no turn to play. Ah, that's not true. We could flash in Ademi. Opponent's thinking about this. To get rid of the Frenzied Baloth. So is it a landfall deck? Fear of missing out. Oh, it could be a Una deck, maybe? Nah, you need white for Una, and we haven't seen any white yet. Oh, I was going to say Rest in Peace would actually be a really nice card to draw. That will shut off the Delirium. So at least you'll never be able to achieve Delirium. It's the Wicker Fire, the Wildfire Wicker Folk. They probably have a pump spell. I have a feeling they're playing the Mighty Might deck. So he can pump this up, but I don't think he can give it any extra toughness. Ooh, but he gives it first strike. That's pretty nice play. Another Day of Judgment is really nice. We'll go ahead and name white with that one. It can enter tapped, and then we will just flash in Ademi. And then, I mean, fingers crossed we hit a land drop. It's 42% chance to draw a land. Screaming Nemesis. That is a big yikes for us, but we still will flash in the Silkchutes, and then we will take the trade with the Wildfire, and we do hit a land. I will happily pay 2. I mean, we know he's playing with Screaming Nemesis and some other hasty creatures, so would be nice to maybe get down Egrix. Opponent is down to just 2 cards in hand. Could make 2 tokens. Goes with the Frenzied Baloth. That's more or less all of his mana spent. Do hit the land drop. Could go with Day of Judgment, but I think we get down Egrix. Does have lifelink, which is pretty nice. Violent Urge, 1 mana. He goes with the Breakout. Look at the top 6. It is just a FOMO. He is going to draw and then discard. Suplex. Ooh, he does attack with both. I have a feeling he might have that Violent Urge again, so I will just take the trade with the FOMO, just because I think that gave them +1, so he would need 2 of those. Snakeskin Veil. We're still gaining 4 life, and we can just Day of Judgment next turn. Alright, so we gain 4 life, so we're up to 9, and we just have another one, so I'll just happily play that. An opponent is just in top deck mode, and I think they might concede. They probably ran out of gas. Screaming Nemesis would be pretty bad, but we do have Day of Judgment if push comes to shove. But yeah, he has a lot of hasty creatures, so yeah. But yeah, like I said, opponent just ran out of gas, and there the Egrix with the lifelink came in really, really clutch. It was nice last turn that he had to use the double Snakeskin Veil just to save his... I mean, he didn't even get to save it because it doesn't give it indestructible. It just gives it hexproof. So yeah, GG. All right, guys, opponent goes first. That is really unfortunate, and I mean, Fountainport and a swamp is really hindering our Verilax, but we'll try it. We will try it. We have no Rest in Peace, which is unfortunate. Maybe we could create some treasure tokens with the Fountainport. We do need 4 mana for that, though. And opponent is playing with Collector's Vault, so you know they're trying to get stuff in the graveyard. So are we going to see an auto-concede right now? You don't get access to your graveyard. And guys, I'm telling you, people are still trying to do cheesy graveyard shenanigans. This guy was trying to dump something into the graveyard, create a treasure token, and then maybe on turn 3, reanimate something, turn 4, reanimate something. Rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace to that guy, but the actual card, rest in peace, absolutely love this card. GG. Alright guys, opponent goes first. Got Authority on turn 1, Rest in Peace on turn 2, and maybe even a Yera on turn 3. Don't think they're doing anything with the graveyard, so not sure how relevant Rest in Peace will be. UFO could be a Ugin deck. You know what? Actually, I do want to remove this UFO. Don't want them ramping. Absolutely don't want them ramping. And then next turn, I think we'll go with Yera. Go ahead and take a peek at their hand. We'll get Starting Town down right now because it comes in untapped. We will have 5 mana eventually, so we can play Egrix on curve, which is really nice. Get to look at the opponent's hand, choose a card. Ooh. Surveil and then draw. So I have a feeling he is playing since he's playing green, I have a feeling he's playing Smuggler Surprise so that he can get the Leviathan in. So we're going to go ahead and name Instant. So those do cost 1 more to cast. Yeah, so it spends all 3 mana to cast that one. I think next turn we'll go with the Godless Shrine. Can get down Rest in Peace. Not that this guy, I think, does anything with his graveyard, even though this one does have Flashback. That one does have Flashback. Rest in Peace does get rid of the graveyard. And then Yera can go ahead and attack. Opponent goes with the Dreams again. Don't let your memes be dreams. But they don't get the flashback cost. They do spend kind of all of their mana to do that, which is nice. 2, 4, 5. There's a Jill. This is 6 mana, right? Human Noble Warrior. Just going to bounce that one. That's fine. I do... This one comes in untapped, right? Add 1 mana. That is an enchantment. We'll do it like this. We'll get down Yera. We'll go ahead and name Instant again. I know the Leviathan is an enchantment, so we could make that one more expensive, but I don't think it's the worst. So land into Summon Leviathan might be what he wants to do. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They do go with the Summon Leviathan. That's fine. We do gain 1 life for that, which is nice. Bounces everything back to our hand. We can go ahead and flash in Ademi, the Silkchutes, and then for sure we will play Egrix. And we'll go ahead and smack the opponent for 3. Opponent is hitting a ton of land drops, and there is a ton of colorless mana, so I think he might be playing Ugin. It's just another Jill. Opponent is up to 7, so yeah, he's just going to bounce that one. So is this just a loop that they do every single turn? Well, we'll get down another Authority. And then we can at least look at the opponent's hand. Another Summon Leviathan. Instant for Syncope. Yeah, we're just going to name Instant then. And then we will just go ahead and smack in for 3. You can play your Summon Leviathan, but we'll gain 2 life for that. We will just gain 2 life for that. Yeah, so this is just a loop that they do. Draw 4. Choose target spell. Surveil 2. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, see, look, he's just going to bounce the Jill. So he bounces the Leviathan. Multiversal Passage. That one can come in untapped. And then we'll still have 2 mana to flash in Ademi. I mean, yeah, you play the Jill, we gain 2 life. You play the Summon Leviathan, we gain 2 life. I mean, Syncope doesn't do anything. Affinity for towns, draw 4 cards. Let's go ahead and name Sorcery. End the turn. You can draw a card, that's fine. I guess technically he does have Syncopate available. I guess we could deck him out as well. We'll take 4 damage, that's fine. Doesn't, oh, I was gonna say he doesn't really have any colored mana. He goes with Jill. just to return the Leviathan, and again, we gain 2 life for that. So the authority of the Consuls really kind of shutting the opponent down right now. He goes with the UFO. That's just coming in tapped. And we'll play this guy then. So we gain another 2 life for that. So we're back up to 18. We can have this land enter. Creatures you control gain hexproof. That doesn't really do anything. So yeah, we'll just attack with these. So that's 6 damage right there. I guess now you could attack with the UFO. This is an interesting deck the opponent's playing. Pretty annoying. I don't think he's too happy about the authority of the Consuls. That was going to deal 7 damage now. That is quite a bit, but I think the opponent is kind of more or less all tapped out. So we're down to 9. Are you just going to play the Leviathan again? You are. So plays the Leviathan. Again, we gain 2 life for that. Pounce everything. We don't have a way to give our guys haste, which is a little bit annoying. We could play Egrix. Well, he probably has the bounce spell, though. That's what I'm worried about now. Day of Judgment is really nice. Let's just clear the board. Get rid of that trash creature. And then let's just take a peek at his hand. Probably has another Leviathan. I mean, he's drawn so many cards at this point. No Leviathan, which is nice. So instant, instant, instant. We'll just go ahead and name instant. Plays Jill. I'm gonna bounce that one back to our hand. We are all tapped out. From your graveyard. Could go with Egrix, and then we have 3 mana left over. Yeah, we'll go with 1 Egrix. Probably eats the Syncopate. Probably eats the Syncopate. There it is, Syncopate. But then we will get in Yera. And we'll go ahead and name instant. So he does have the Desculpting Blast. Can bounce that back to our hand. Plays the UFO. Gain 2 life for that. There it is. So opponent is running out of cards a little bit. We do gain 2 life for that. You may cast an instant or sorcery. But there is nothing in the graveyard, thanks to Rest in Peace. For each card in your graveyard. So yeah, that card is really not doing much for them. Again, we gain 2 life for that, which is really nice. And then we'll just go with another Egrix. Opponent could choose to bounce that one. Could choose to bounce that one. Let's see what the opponent does. Return transformed. Target creature can't block this turn. Okay. I am fine with that. We gain 2 life again, which is nice. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. That I'm fine with. The UFO is going to deal 7 damage. Let's flash this guy in. Maybe it eats a counter spell. No counter spell. For each card in your graveyard. So this actually isn't a counter spell. Desculpting Blast. 7, 8, 9. I'll take 9 damage. I don't mind. Because we'll be dealing 7 to the opponent and gaining 4. So Does he go with the Desculpting Blast right now? He does not. Another Multiversal Passage. That one can be white. I'm not going to pay any life for that. Let's just go ahead and attack. He's going to bounce that one, but I think we'll just sacrifice this guy. Just to give our creatures hexproof. We played a land for turn, right? Oh, that's my bad. I maybe shouldn't have done that. But we can get down Verilax, and then we can get down Yera. We'll go ahead and name Instant. That creature can't block. Ooh, we're taking 9. But, I mean, we do have the opponent on the crackback. He does choose to attack with those guys. He doesn't. He has one unknown card in hand. I swear, if it is that stupid Summon Leviathan, I don't even know where it went. It was there. I saw it. Yes. Okay. I'm not gonna play a land just in case we find one off the top. It could be a Desculpting Blast, but we have the opponent no matter. Well, he does have one blocker. All right, we're gonna say next. Could flash this guy in. Yeah, and he gains Indestructible. So that you absolutely love to see. Syncopate. That's a town. Wait, but we're dealing 8 damage to the opponent, so... Yeah, unless he has a bounce spell. Wow, man, that was an absolute slugfest. Pretty interesting combo. I hadn't ever seen that before with the Summon Leviathan bouncing it each time with Jill. I think this is Jill. Yeah, they transformed him. There, our double authority really came in clutch, and Rest in Peace also came in clutch. I didn't think they did much with their graveyard, but here you see we would have to pay 1 extra mana for each card in the graveyard, and they have 0 in the graveyard. So this actually is not a counter spell. So wow, I cannot believe we got there down to 1 HP into Dream. That's because we just flashed in Ademi. Could go ahead and sacrifice him to give our Egrix Indestructible. So then we're gaining 4 life, -3, I guess, on the Trepe, and then could still play another card from the top. But again, we'd be down to, I think, just 2 or 3 life. So it was getting kind of risky. I thought the opponent really had us at one point, but man, we got there in the end. GG. All right, guys, opponent goes first. We do have a ton of removals, so I think I will actually keep it. I will keep it. Verilax needs the triple white. I don't know how good he is in this deck. Flying Haste. No Mayhem. So we'll get down the Fountainport. And we have a bunch of options we could go with. Might actually flash in the Silkchutes. Oh. I really did not mean to play that right now. I wanted him to attack first. We don't even have flying, so... Aye. Alright, it's all good. It's all good, guys. He's got the FOMO, so might be trying to do some graveyard stuff, so kind of hope we can find... Yeah, he is going with Mayhem. I really hope we can find Rest in Peace. That would be really nice. For right now, he does have 2 flyers. These are both instant speed, but we only have 3 mana available. You know what? I will get down Yera. Do have to pay 1 for that. Artifact. Well, I mean, I guess we name Artifact then. Do have Day of Judgment, which is really nice. So we can attack in. Let's see if he takes the trade. Kind of hope he hits the land drop. We really need to find Rest in Peace as well. Can hit that guy with the Depressurize or the Scorpion Sting. Kind of hope he hits a land. Oh, this guy's only 3 mana? Nice. 1 damage I'm fine with. Goes with Alicia. That kind of sucks. All right, hit the land drop, which is really nice. So this one will come in tapped, and then I guess we'll go with Depressurize. We'll wait for the opponent's turn, though, so we'll say next. No attacks, end the turn. And then the Flail. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. They have to discard, so that helps with the Mayhem. 2, 3. Man, we only have 3 white sources right now. The Swamp and the Fountainport don't contribute towards the white, man. 5 white pips is a really steep cost. Let's see who he equips it to. Gonna equip it to that guy. Gets +2/+1. That's fine. Gonna discard that one. So that's a 5/3. FOMO and Alicia. I'm not sure those two attack. We're going to go ahead and say pass. Here comes the Scorpion Sting. Oh, do we take 5 damage? I'm not sure. Yeah, Scorpion Sting on this guy. And then I will take the trade. And then, has he played a land for turn? Oh, please play the creature. Yes, this is going to be a really juicy Day of Judgment. Get to return a creature. So yeah, opponent with a really nice Mayhem deck. This is where Rest in Peace would have just gone so insanely hard. Yeah, you can bring that guy back. I don't care. This is actually a white source for us, which is really nice. We can have it enter tapped right now. Go ahead and take 1 damage to clear the board, and opponent is kind of just in top deck mode. So fear of missing out. Doesn't have haste, which is nice. They get to draw. Inti. Oh, I really hope we can find a white mana source. No. This one, 4 mana to create the treasure token. Oh. Honestly, I think I'll take 5 damage right now. Maybe even 6 damage. Let's see what he discards. Oh, he's just going to play that creature. Oh, 3. He gets the Flail as well. All right, we're down to 8. I am 100% going to create the treasure token. Create the treasure token. It's our turn. Multiversal Passage is nice. 2, 4, 6, 7. You know what I'm actually going to do? We're going to have this one enter tapped, and we will play Overlord right now, just for the full cost. We get the 6/6 creature, and we get the 2/2/2 flyers, which is really nice. This guy does get to create the treasure token, though. Let's hope he isn't drawing the best right now. Haven't seen any kill spells yet. Verilax is going to go really hard. Of course, he does have a few flyers that we've seen. This guy has flying, and this guy has flying. But Ruzik, booed but victorious. Draw, discard. Yeah, you don't have Trample or Menace, so I'm fine trading just 1 token. And yeah, next turn we do have Verilax coming down. Attack with everyone, that's kind of crazy, because I will 100% take these trades. All day, every day. All day, every day, we take those trades. Opponent with a land, and I think that's all they can do. So yeah, here comes Verilax. You're not really going to be able to attack through from him. We had to take 2 damage for that, and we get to return a creature to the battlefield, which is really nice. Let's just bring back Ademi. You can spend 1 mana to give our creatures indestructible and hexproof. Get to create the 2 tokens now. So Yes, I think we got the opponent. They do get to create the treasure token, so they have a ton of mana to work with, but we have a thing that can just protect all of our creatures, and I mean, you could attack with Ruzik, Bood, but Victorious. We would choose to block with Verilax, and we'd get to put 7 counters on him then, so GG, pulled it out in the end, and finally Verilax did put in some work, but guys, man, the 5 white pips is a very steep cost. GG. Hey there, neighbor, and welcome to the post-game wrap. Today we played with our very first deck from the Through the Omenpaths new set that just came out. The physical cards are, of course, the Spider-Man set. Arena didn't acquire the rights to them, so they made their own digitally revamped cards of the Spooderman set. So it is a very spider-heavy theme, but yeah, it's not traditional Spider-Man, which is a little bit unfortunate. It is a little bit confusing. I think it'll take us all some time to get used to. But with that out of the way, we played with, honestly, quite a lot of new cards from the new set. Let's just put them all over here. It honestly is a very, very heavy amount of new cards from the new set. So, yeah, pretty exciting. I guess we can go over them quickly. This deck, the main idea that I wanted to do today, sorry, not the main idea, one of the key pieces I wanted to play today was Rest in Peace, just because so many people are trying out the Mayhem mechanic. We saw that in the very last game we played, where they just want stuff in their graveyard, or people just trying to do cheesy reanimator stuff. That is still a very, very popular archetype. So Rest in Peace, it came in clutch, definitely in a few games. One game we saw the opponent just scooped it up right away on turn 2 when we played Rest in Peace. There was another deck, it was the blue deck, where they were bouncing their Leviathan each turn. We saw from their hand that they had a counterspell that said we would have to pay 1 extra mana for each card in their graveyard, so that actually shut that down. They had a few flashback cards as well, which Rest in Peace gets rid of all of those. And against this very last deck that we just played against, the Mayhem deck, where they want to discard a creature for 3 or 4 mana into the graveyard, and then they can pay it for the Mayhem cost, which is oftentimes heavily reduced for just 1 or 2 mana then. Unfortunately, we did not draw Rest in Peace in that game, but it would have carried us pretty hard right there. So I wanted to play with Rest in Peace today, and it definitely came up clutch a few times, kind of taxing the opponent. In that same vein is Authority of the Consuls. Their creatures enter tapped and regain life. Lightstall Inquisitor, they have to exile a card from their hand, and it costs 1 mana more to play it. If it's a land that they choose to exile, then that land will enter tapped. So a really nice piece of tax right there. And then Depressurize, for 2 mana, instant speed, target creature gets -3 to their power, and if their power hits 0 or less, you get to destroy it. And then one of the new cards that we were trying out was Scorpion Sting. For 2 mana, target creature gets -3/-3, so pretty similar to Depressurize. Just wanted to try it out, and I think it came up once where we used it. Day of Judgment, just a very, very nice board wipe, clear the board, very helpful. And Overlord of the Mistmoors, just to produce those insect tokens, can be pretty nice, but if you can find him from the top of your deck, we might be able to play him, which we saw in one game as well, because one of the main cards that I wanted to try today was Egrix, the Bile Bulwark. For 5 mana, you get a 4/4 Death Touch and Lifelink, and she has the ability that says whenever Egrix attacks, until the end of our turn, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play those cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you lose life equal to its mana value, which is a really, really good ability. For those of you guys that know Bolas's Citadel, I wasn't around Arena when that card came out, but I have played quite a bit of Historic where that card does pop up every once in a while, and that is just such a good ability. And we saw in, I think, 2 of the games we played, and one of them I made a tiny misplay, but in one of the games we played, it pulled its weight a lot. I really like that you don't have to deal damage to the opponent. It is just when you attack right away. So the second that this creature becomes tapped, you can start playing cards from the top of your library. Of course, that is your attack step, so you can't play any creatures, for instance, unless they have Flash, which one of the new cards does. Ademi of the Silkchutes, he does have Flash, so you could play him, for instance. But yeah, like a sorcery or just a normal creature without Flash, you can't play those yet. But that ability stays in effect for the entire turn, even if they remove Egrix, which is really nice. So if she deals damage to the opponent, or if they block and kill Egrix, or if they just hit her with a piece of removal, but she has still attacked, that ability is still in play. So then after the attack steps, then you can cast creatures from the top of your library. You can also play lands, which is pretty nice, and that's where in one game I did make a tiny misplay. We had Egrix on the battlefield, and then what you should do if you have a land in your hand, don't play the land yet. First attack with Egrix, see if there is a land on top, because if you have not played a land for turn, then you can play a land from the top of your library. If you have played a land for turn, you guys know that you can only play one land per turn. So if there is just a land on top then, and you have already played a land, you will not be able to play that land off the top. So that's the one misplay I made in one of the games. And then another thing to note as well is if you do see Overlord on the top of your library, you will lose 7 life, because it is the full 7 mana you have to pay. It's not the 4 mana impending cost, so that's just a small note to remember. Another new card that we looked at was Yera and Oski, the Weaver and the Guide. For 3 mana, this creature enters, and you get to look at the opponent's hand, which is really nice, and then you can name anything other than a creature, so an instant or sorcery or planeswalker or artifact or enchantment, and if you name that, then those spells cost 1 more generic mana to cost, so kind of a little bit like the taxing effect, which is really nice. And then yeah, I went over Egrix, one of our main top ends. Another one that I wanted to try today was Verilax the Havenskin for 5 pips of white mana, which that is a very, very steep cost. You honestly might want to cut the 2 swamps just because you don't need that much black in the deck. I mean, you do need it a little bit, but we have a lot of dual lands, and the new Multiverse Passage and Starting Town could help you produce black mana if need be. Normally with the Multiverse Passage, you want to name white, just because the 5 pips of white mana is a very steep cost. But I think in the last game against the Mayhem deck, we were able to get Verilax down, and in another game we had Verilax down. And there we actually pulled it off the combo with Withar, the Cocoon Keeper for 7 mana. You get a human villain. He has Vigilance and Lifelink, but you get to switch your life total with your opponent. So so how it went, it was against the life gain deck. I think we brought the opponent down to like 14 or something like that. They have an Avacyn, and I think we were at 13 life. They attacked in with Avacyn to bring us down to 7 life. We had Withar in our hand. Avacyn was the only creature they had, and it was tapped. They were all out of cards in their hand. Avacyn was tapped, and we had a Verilax and I believe a Yera, or maybe it was Ademi. We had 8 damage on board. We had 5 from Verilax and then 3 either from Ademi or Yera. We were at 7 life. The opponent, I think, was up to 24. We played the Cocoon Keeper, switched our life total, so the opponent now had 7 mana, and like I said, they were all tapped out. So I did really, really like this card. I might try and look to play him in a more dedicated deck where we try and pull that combo off a little bit more than we did today. And same with Verilax. It is really nice. His first ability, if you cast him, you get to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. So a little bit like a Zombify. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm trying to shut off the graveyard today just because so many people are abusing it. So we are playing Rest in Peace, so that's a little bit of a non-combo or a nombo. But yeah, Verilax, I did like him when he did hit the battlefield. So yeah, those were all the new through the Omenpath cards we played with today. I've been rambling long enough, that's for sure. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. I hope you guys are enjoying the new set. Let me know of any exciting cards that you pulled. You guys can also let me know of any cards that you would like to play. Maybe you guys were interested in Cocoon, but you weren't sure if you wanted to spend 4 mythic wild cards to craft him. I have most of the cards from the new set. You can check out the pack opening video that I did. I opened up 200 packs, so I was able to complete most of the set right there. So yeah, if there are any cards from the new set that you guys are interested in crafting, or if there's just any decks that you're interested in, definitely let me know, and I will happily play those decks for you guys just to showcase them, so you guys can maybe get a little bit of a better idea of if you actually like the card or not. So yeah. But yeah, I've been rambling long enough. I'm just going to end it like I always end it. I love you guys. Peace out.